Greetings everyone, Master Grogan here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, welcome to another life-changing episode of Grogan's Bullyproof and Kickin' Life. And this is the Feel Good Friday edition, and it's kind of a Kickin' Life tip. I'm going to start naming these on Fridays, our Feel Good Friday Kickin' Life tip for the weekend. And what I'm going to talk about today, and this was actually brought up, a Facebook friend suggested it, Mr. Jim Fleming. So Jim, shout out to you, brother, for mentioning this. I had posted something about focus on the blessings and not on the weeds. And he actually posted on my page there about the parable of the wheat and the tares. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it's in Matthew chapter 13. And it talks about the kingdom of heaven is like a man who's sowing good seed. And you plant the good seed in the ground, and in the night, somebody comes along and plants tares, which are basically weeds that try and suffocate and eat up or strangle the wheat seeds that you planted. And it kind of goes on in the passage in the Bible there about heaven is the seed that's planted in the soil to grow and be flourish and positivity and what I call kickin' life, right? And then of course society, the world, devil's workshop, plants weeds of negativity and poor thoughts and evil thoughts and mischievous thoughts and things you shouldn't be doing. And I call the mainstream media the devil's workshop. So it's constantly planting the wrong seeds, if you will, weeds in your mind. It's kind of similar to the Bible passage, the wheat and the tares. And so anyway, you've got them growing side by side, as we do. So in the Bible passage, it talks about, do you try and dig up the weeds? Well, yes, but if you do, you're probably also, if they've sunken in the soil there, it's going to dig up the blessings or the wheat as well. So let it grow and then separate them. So my take on that is this. Oftentimes, we've got so many blessings all around us, but we overlook them and focus on the negative. Why? Well, because we're constantly inundated with negative, because in the news media, what bleeds leads, right? So if it's a scary thing that's going to drive you into a panic state, you're going to probably tune in a lot more than feel-good stories. Why? Well, it's because the way our mind is put together, our mind, one thing and one thing only, and that is to keep us safe. So if we, hey Scott, if you pop on the screen here, make sure you say hello. And so our mind is geared to protect us and keep us safe. Lenny, good afternoon to you, sir. Or morning for some folks, afternoon in Florida here. But your mind was going to tune in more to something that could potentially be dangerous in order to keep you safe, because that's what you got to worry about. You got to fight, you got to flight. What are you going to do here? And that's a mind, your brain's number one job. Even back to the prehistoric days of looking behind a bush there, it's like, oh, there's a saber-toothed tiger going to jump out and get me. Well, you're going to be more cautious of that. Well, the same thing, and the media realize that, so they try and plant the tares, if you will, the weeds, the fear tactics in our mind. And by doing so, we often overlook the many, many blessings that we have. So I want you to do this. Yes, be cautious and aware of the weeds, the dangers of society, but focus on the blessings, everything that you got going on good right now. Plant like this podcast right now, or this video blog, however you're listening and watching it. Let that plant some seeds in your mental garden to blossom into the wheat, right? Or I like to call it strawberries, right? Everybody loves strawberries. Yes, you need to focus on the weeds. We got to make sure we tend and till those out of the garden. But don't get so caught up in all the weeds or everything that's wrong with society that we forget to count the blessings. Because what happens then, and I've been plenty guilty of this. Matter of fact, for a couple months there, I was spending more time focusing on all the weeds, everything that was wrong with society, as opposed to, empowering people with hope and self-confidence to give them the strength, to give them the power to fight off those weeds, if you will, or the evil that pops up in society. Because, and yes, we need to be aware of it. I'm not saying we'll put our head in the sand and be naive to it. But my point is, strengthen yourself with the right thoughts, the right seeds, in order to, when those weeds pop up, when that evil pops up, when that fear pops up, that you've got the right amount of hope and self-confidence and belief in yourself to fight those things off, to dig up the weeds and then discard them and burn them, get rid of them. Kind of like the Bible parable, the wheat and the tares, right? Yeah, they grow up, separate them, get those weeds out, burn them, and be done with them, and then focus on the blessings. Don't be naive, but then again, watch what you focus on, because there's a lot of great blessings out there. And I posted something yesterday on my page. If you're not following me, make sure you do so. Rich Grogan. I've got a few friend places left on that, but I would rather you follow the Grogan's Bullyproof and Kickin' Life group and page. Therefore, it's unlimited. And then, of course, our YouTube channel, which is really starting to pick up now, Grogan's Bullyproof. And then, of course, if you're just hearing this, you're going to hear this on the podcast, the Grogan's Bullyproof podcast. Make sure you subscribe and share with others to help continuously build our brand. And our brand is our tribe, all about empowering people to believe in themselves with hope and self-confidence to stand up to any bully they face, both real and in their mind, in order to become bullyproof and live that best kick in life. So, count the blessings. If you're watching this, obviously you have access to a phone that you're listening on a podcast or watching on a video blog. And if you're breathing, that puts you ahead of a lot of people. And if you've got food in the refrigerator, there's another blessing. If you had a warm bed or a cold bed, whatever your environment you're in to sleep in last night, that's a blessing. If your family's healthy, that's a blessing. So start focusing on all the blessings that you have and strengthen your resolve so when those weeds pop up, you're more in tune to be able to fight them off. Sound good? There you go. So once again, a big shout out to Mr. Jim Fleming for bringing that up about the parable of the weeds and the tares. It's a Bible passage in Mark 13. Check it out. And then, like I said, make sure you subscribe. All right. Well, if you found value in this message, share it with someone that you know could benefit as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channels so we can continuously build that tribe to work together to empower each other. And if you've got something you'd like to hear me talk about, please post that as well. All right, folks. I love you. God loves you. Please share that love with the world. And until we talk again, you get out there and do your best, and I promise you'll be your very best. You'll become bullyproof, yeah, and you'll live your best kick in life. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. Thanks for all the shout outs. We'll chat with you again real soon. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.